This video, I'm going to be sharing with you the ABCs of raising your vibration instantly. And when you apply this three-step process to anything in your life, you will feel an increase of emotion, you will feel better, and things will happen easier than ever for you. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the ABCs. Let me tell you something as well. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Okay, so ABC, 1, 2, 3. This is so simple when we begin to apply it. Understand that our natural vibration as well. Sometimes when we think of raising our vibration, we're like, well, I'm here. I want to get up here. So in order for me to go from here to here, I have to do all of these things. Well, really, there's only 3 things you need to do, and that's the ABCs, which is easy as 1, 2, 3. So when we think as well that we have to go boom, 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 the truth is our natural vibration is high. We are high vibrational beings, infinite spiritual beings, dreaming that we are these 3D physical avatar bodies. And then what happens is we go through what is called a veil of forgetfulness. We come into this reality, we forget who we are, because it's part of the rules that we set up so that we forget, so that we can go through a process of remembering. And what happens is many times we'll go through life situations that may be painful. We may identify with those things that happen. We may think this is who I am. And because we think that, we then experience things because of it. But the point is that eventually it creates pressure, and then we wake up to more of who we are. So the idea behind this is understanding that it's actually not the case that we have to go from here to here to here in order to raise our vibration. Our vibration is naturally high. It's just about letting go of everything that's keeping us under that high vibrational feeling. So it's about that awareness. And that awareness is all about us. Actually, that's the first one. So let's get into it right now. The ABCs, easy as 1, 2, 3, of raising your vibration instantly. Okay, it kind of rhymes as well. A stands for I'm just kidding. A stands for awareness. A stands for awareness. So 90% of transformation has to do with awareness. We're talking about transforming our lives. It's just awareness. Why is this? Because when you become aware, you start to take your power back. So the thing is our beliefs create our reality, and the stories we tell ourselves are what keeps us tied to the realities we're experiencing. We all have different stories. We have stories about how we relate to other people. We have stories about how reality works. We have stories about how our health is. We have stories about relationships. We have stories about how we attract money into our lives. These are all stories. And these stories are on autopilot from when we were very young. I look at my life and I can see so many different stories I had going on in the background that I just wasn't aware of. And because I wasn't aware of it, I experienced it over and over and over again, kind of like Groundhog's Day. Now the thing is 90% of people on the planet are asleep to who they are at a greater level. That's why there's this shift in consciousness happening on the planet. People are waking up. However, what they're really not aware of as well is the stories they're telling themselves about their life. Because there's been a certain story that has been broadcasted for everyone to see in the world because of the media. So let's look at some of these stories. We have stories of there's these third world countries. It's a story that is real. So I'm not saying that I live in a fairy tale where these are, it's not real or anything. However, there's certain things that are put for us to focus on because we make those stories more real. And what happens is we then adopt the stories that are projected to us. The stories are, the world is a bad, nasty place. It's very negative. The stories are that things happen to a lot of people and there's no control over it. The stories are that the government's doing the wrong thing or the right thing or whatever it is. These are all different stories. And what happens is we have a certain story that we're unaware of. The story is that 90% of people are going to a 9-to-5 job they're not passionate about. They get home from a long day of work. Then they have to do stuff around the house. They have to help the kids. They have to do all this stuff. And then by the time they go to bed, they don't even have time to ask themselves, who am I? Why am I here on this planet? Because the idea is if you keep everyone very, very busy, they don't question things so much. Just keep them always distracted. I was going through Tokyo a couple weeks ago, and wow, so much stimulation. Everywhere you go, it's like stimulation, stimulation. You go into like some place to get food, it's like sugary stimulation drinks. Everywhere you go is stimulation. It's all distraction. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's like, dang, look how much stuff you could pack in this little mile space right here. It's cool. And Japan's an amazing place, just so everyone knows. I'm not dogging on it. I'm just saying stimulation. I mean, even in America, stimulation. Everywhere you go, stimulation. I live in Las Vegas. Go to the Strip. Stimulation. Most of these things are stories, things that keep us in a certain mindset. They keep us in the autopilot mind. If you watch the television, it is telling lies to your vision. So understand that we are tuning to that frequency, and that is our reality. However, the key to the ABCs is first off awareness, because you become aware of the game itself. And the game is that you are, actually you could say that it's beyond the game, becoming aware of more of the game, is you becoming aware that you are an infinite spiritual being, dreaming that you are this little 3D avatar that's running around. I'm running around, I'm like, hey guys, I make YouTube videos. Hi. And it's okay that I run around going, I'm making YouTube videos, yay. As long as I'm aware that I'm running around making YouTube videos and that this isn't really all that I am. As long as I'm aware that I am a spiritual being having a temporary human experience. I'm not identified with what I'm doing. If I identified with everything that I did for making these videos, I wouldn't get as many videos as I do. You say, what do you mean by get as many videos as you do? What I mean is the information I bring through comes from high vibration. It comes through me because I don't identify with it. I don't say, Aaron Doughty is such an amazing YouTuber. He makes all these videos. Look at him. But the truth is, as long as I get my ego out of the way, and yes, the ego is still there. The ego's like, oh, I want to be successful. I want to help a lot of people transform their lives and all this stuff. As long as I'm aware that this is not really who I am. By that, what I mean is I'm a spiritual being having this temporary human experience. Not that me making videos is fake or anything, because it's not. It's what I absolutely love to do. But what I mean by this is I don't take credit. If I were to go around and like, my name's Aaron Doughty, I make YouTube videos, this is the kind of following I have, then that's ego. And normally people, when they start to attain that level of ego, things start falling apart for them. Because if you identify with everything, you start to create a resistance, and the ego normally starts to work against you. So the beauty of what I love doing is allowing things to come through and just having fun with it. You see, the more we believe that reality is so fixed, so heavy, is the more that reality is fixed and heavy. But when you realize life is a dream, it's a fun dream we're meant to be having. But when you become aware of the rules you set up in the dream, you start to take your power back. So it's awareness. 90% of transformation is awareness. And when you become aware of the rules you set up, and by rules, what I mean by that is the beliefs that we have about the way reality works, the beliefs we have about how people treat us, the beliefs we have about finance, about relationships, the beliefs we have are what then causes us to experience a reality that is equal to, it's reflected back to us, because that's all reality really is. It's an experience that we have to learn, and it's this ability we have to become aware of the reflection that we're getting, because everything is a reflection. So the thing is you set up some of the rules at a higher consciousness level. As these higher vibrational beings, and you forgot who you are, you came here, you set up some of the rules. The key is the awareness that you set up some of these rules, become aware of the stories you tell yourself, because then you can change the stories you tell yourself. And then from there, your life begins to change, because remember, the outer reality is just a reflection of the inner reality. So you might be saying to yourself, like, whoa, bro, it's pretty cool. I just got to become aware of the game I'm playing. I got to become aware of the stories I tell myself about how reality works. Okay, Aaron, what's the next step? It's probably like a 10-minute video so far. What's the second step? Well, A, awareness. B is belief. What do you believe to be true? Your beliefs create your reality. So in a way, it's similar to stories, because those stories are just things. Stories are easier for us to think of because stories we remember more easily. If we watch a movie and remember that we like the storyline, we identify with it, it's easy for us to remember. We retain more of that. So many of the stories we have that ties and glues together our reality then have beliefs in them. Now, always ask yourself this question. I mean, not always. I mean, there could be times that you're like drinking water and you don't need to be like, ask this question. The question is, what would I have to believe is true to be having this kind of experience? Now, from a certain perspective, you could drink water and be like, what would I have to believe is true? I believe I need water. Now, is that a limiting belief? No, it's pretty much the game that we set up, is that most people will need water in this reality, or food. That's a tangent. Anyways, belief. What would I have to believe is true to be having this kind of experience? Anytime you experience negative emotion, ask yourself that question. What would I have to believe is true? And when you ask yourself that question, you can then see that things start to transform. The way we see reality is hidden. It's not even hidden. It's in front of our faces when it comes to our definitions about reality. So some people may say, that person should be that way, but they're feeling negative emotion because the person's not that way. Well, maybe you have a belief that they should be that way, and that's what's causing the negative resistance. Instead of trying to change the outside and going over there like, well, you should be doing this. This is how I see you. And instead, here's the key. Become aware of the beliefs you have about reality. Do you believe, I know a girl that's like 30-something years old, 32 years old, and she believed, like you can tell in her mind she had this plan, this blueprint, that she should have been married in a relationship by now. And because of that, she's creating resistance, and it's not actually happening because she can't see it, because she's of the vibration of it's not happening. It's a story that she's telling herself. And she has a rule that unless it happens, she won't raise her vibration and feel better, so it's a double-edged sword there. But the key is to be aware of that belief. If she was aware of that belief, she could say, you know what? Why do I believe this? Well, I believe this because my parents were born, or my parents married at a very young age and had kids by my age. I believe this because X, Y, Z. Then you let go of the negative resistance. But remember, beliefs will then, you change your beliefs, you then change your life. So become aware of the beliefs you have about everything. Do you believe you could be doing what you're passionate about? Do you believe that you are capable of being in a good relationship? What do you believe about yourself? Because these beliefs create your reality. So, become aware of these beliefs. As you become aware of these beliefs, you will then, once again, begin to transform your life. And the moment you become aware of the belief, just like the moment you become aware of your story, is the moment you start to gain your power back. This doesn't have to be like a 20-week-long thing where you're like, what is this? Shadow work, all of this stuff. You can do that. However, the key is knowing that when you become aware of it, you become aware that it is just a play. This reality is much more dreamlike than we can imagine, but we keep things in place because of our belief systems and because of the stories we tell ourselves. Allow yourself to shift. Allow it to be easy. And when you become aware of it, you see how it may not be serving you anymore, and in the awareness, you then shift. Because when you're aware, it's no longer on autopilot. It's no longer just running itself out, and then you could be the way you prefer. So this is all about awareness and belief. Now you may be like, okay, Aaron, it's like 15 minutes in the video now. So what's going on with the C? So you got awareness, belief. C is choice. It's choice. When you treat everything in your life as if you chose it, you will raise your vibration. Because then when you do that, you allow yourself to allow the moment to be rather than trying to control it or trying to fit it into some blueprint in your mind of how things should be. Now you may say, well, I don't choose for a lot of these bad things to happen. At a certain level you do, because you're an infinite spiritual being and you knew that you could handle it, and you knew that some of these things that appear to be negative would create some pressure for you so that then you come out of it feeling even more powerful. I went through a lot of pain growing up because that eventually led me to a spiritual awakening, questioning my reality and going through that. Pain and complexity allows for spurting up and then going into higher levels of consciousness. So when we talk about the ABCs, understand that with C, It's about taking responsibility for your life and choosing everything, treating everything as if you chose it. Responsibility simply means the ability to respond to things that have happened in the past, respond to them with awareness, and choose to be who you are in the present moment. This is a choice. If you treat everything as a choice, then everything in your life will begin to work for you because you won't carry around resistance everywhere you go. So, the key to this process is awareness, belief, choice. You raising your vibration is about knowing that you are a high vibrational being. That you came here to earth, you forgot who you are, you went through a veil of forgetfulness, and then you started to identify as your 3D physical avatar body. And we walk around and we bang around with each other and we either agree, we find people that agree with us and normally those are our friends, and we find people that don't agree with us and those are our enemies, and we have this whole reality based on agreement. But the key is to become aware of those relationships, the relationship within yourself, the relationship you have with other people. Because as you do, you start to wake up from the autopilot mind. You start to wake up from the dream of the little 3D avatar. And as you become aware of the rules you set up, which are the beliefs, you then start to free yourself into a higher vibration. But it's about becoming aware of the beliefs and then letting them go. Because then when you let go, you naturally begin to raise your vibration. And then you can realize that one day you'll go beyond belief and into being. Being present to the moment. Being here now. Accepting the moment as it is. That's when you start to raise your vibration to a new level. When you talk about these enlightened people and what they're able to do, like magical things, like if you read the book Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. I can now say that word, or his name, Paramahansa Yogananda, so I say it a lot. Because before I was like, Paramahansa Yogananda, okay? And what he, in his life, he was around a lot of other yogis who could do these magical things that we wouldn't even think are possible. Why could they do that? Because they were embodying their highest avatar self, these enlightened people he came into contact with. Because of that, they realized the truth. The truth is, reality is a dream. Because reality is a dream, it's more flexible. That's why they were able to do things with that awareness that we would think is impossible. Now, am I saying you could do that? Maybe. But all I'm really saying is ABC, easy as 1, 2, 3, and you can just understand more about your life, become aware, understand your beliefs, create your reality. Once you become aware of the beliefs, create your reality, let go of what doesn't serve you anymore, and then choose to be the version of you that you choose to be, and by doing so, you will transform your life. A, B, C. Another little one, always be choosing. It's like the ABC of C, the ABC of choice. Always be choosing. Instead of going into the autopilot mind, always be choosing. Choose the reality you prefer. Choose to be the person you prefer to be. Choose the story you're telling yourself. Have that level of choice, but realize that's the choice from the 3D avatar. You are still an infinite spiritual being. So just be aware of that, because it makes life fun. It makes life loose. You can then do what you want to do, and you can be how you want to be. So if you want a meditation that will help you to raise your vibration to a whole new level, you can listen to it for 21 days. I think it'll transform your life. It's going to be in the top of the description box below. Also, I'm going to be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do so right here. You can ask me questions, plus I post twice a day there as well. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear so you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.